It's important to understand the aim of these slides, really trying to get you to take a step back. So rather than thinking, what have I got to do to get a good mark in this? You'll get a good mark if you just take sufficient steps backwards and ask yourself what could be possible for you in the unit. So it starts with your area of interest. I'm very interested to know what it actually is that you're passionate about, what you have an interest in. Now, maybe that hasn't fallen perfectly for you in terms of where your group has landed, in terms of what you're going to be focusing on, but that's what I'm trying to get you to think about. So when you come back to the first slide, you've given me the first slide in week 2 to introduce yourself, and now I want you to revise it. So I want you to think about that slide, and now when you're thinking about the people that you know that are active in the space related to the idea area that your group is focusing on, and the people you know of expertise in that area, think about it collectively. All right? So now rather than just you, now it's all about your collective group. Okay? But hopefully your personal interests can still flow into this area. Otherwise, that could create some challenges for you being in that group, right? That's the whole point of forming the groups around your personal interests. Thinking about the groups that you're already now working in, the types of people you want to work with. What can you tell me about that? And your expectations for those people. And what do you want to work? How do you want to work with those people, right? So you should be able to revise some of those bits and pieces there to update it to now incorporate you as somebody who is operating in a group structure. The other areas I'm interested for you to work on is your aspirations. So your aspirations as a learner, and maybe your aspirations as an entrepreneur, right? Or a business owner going forward. So if you've updating these slides and now adding these additional questions, that's going to allow you to talk about your areas of interest, the collective resource profile, your aspirations, and as we move into the other questions, you can keep linking that back, all right? Every slide should be in some way connected back to the other slides. That don't look at them as random questions that are isolated. So when you're thinking about your weaknesses that you'd like to work on, think about, given the group context you're in, what does that mean for you? Maybe you're now working on something that you're not as passionate about. So maybe you're going to tell me there that you're going to have to do something a little bit different in your approach to overcome that sort of lack of passion you might have for the idea. All right? There might be some general weaknesses that you have. Maybe you tend to be a bit overbearing, or you tend to be a bit shy, or you're not organized, or tell me about those. But tell me why. Why does that matter? All right? You don't have to use the why in the really structured way that you've done in the previous units with me. You can just simply use it in a more qualitative way of asking 2 or 3 times and asking yourself, well, why does that matter? Why is it important that you would want to be bringing these issues to my attention? So ultimately, I'm trying to get you to bring them to your own attention, okay? When you move on to the issue about what you want to learn about your group members, it might not just be what they've got to offer in terms of your group idea. Maybe they've got something in the way they go about their learning, their process of learning. Maybe they're different from you, right? And maybe you could take the time to try and understand them as individuals. Why would you want to do that, right? What could you gain from learning about people who are different from you, all right? Ask yourself that question. What do you hope to get from your group members? Well, here I'm trying to bring back in those issues around the resource profile. Clearly, I'm trying to get you to think about how this team is going to structure. So it might be more resource profile in terms of your specific idea, but it might be also about their leadership, or it might be about something else that you can see they're going to bring to the nature of the group harmony. In terms of the practical knowledge, here I'm definitely getting you to think about your future aspirations. What actually is it that you want to be doing going forward, and what practical knowledge might you be able to get from the group? Now, I noticed in class last night a couple of people were saying, they'd like to know how to operate in an industry. Well, you're not going to get that practical knowledge from this class, I wouldn't think. But what you might get is the sort of the building blocks of that knowledge, right? So what are some aspects of being able to operate in an industry that you might be trying to get? All right. So try and break it down a little bit into the practical knowledge that helps you to move that next step forward. All right. And think about what it actually is you're wanting to get from this process. And then finally, as we always have, as a learner, what can you do to become a better learner in this context? So critique yourself as a learner. If you're going to get an outcome in this unit that you're not happy with, predict in advance why that might be. And is there something you can do now in terms of your own thinking to avoid that situation? All right. So what is it you can do to become a better learner, and why? Why would that be important for you? All right. That's what I'm looking for. And ultimately, those slides, there should be enough depth of reflection in them in terms of you critiquing your own thinking, and there should be a bit of a flow across all of the slides that connects them. They don't have to be connected across every point, but they should be sufficiently connected that we can see that these 6 slides hang together.